The two travelers walked along the path. Adam and Clara worked towards their destination. Unseen by them, they were being watched. A small figure observed them and judged what to do. Sensing a spark, it worked its magic. Something small and subtle, undetectable but powerful. Something that could alter their very future. With a smile, it loosed its spell like an arrow, striking both of them at once. Welcome to Mythical Phylogeny Adventures. I'm your guide, Jason. As spring is in the air, I think we should meet a god of love, Eros. Eros comes from Greek mythology and is known as Cupid by the Romans, a god of love and desire. In the earliest Greek religion, he was seen as a primordial god, those born from the Orphic egg. The order of his birth is contested. Usually, he was placed as either the first or fourth of the original gods to be born. He was often called Protogonus, or firstborn. Oh, and he was also called Phanes, Metis, and Erechapaios. He would be the father of Nyx, goddess of night, and with her would produce Gaia and Oranos. Others claimed Gaia came before Eros. Yeah, depending on whether you have Hesiod, Socrates, or Parmenides, alters many things. Trust me, if you actually look into the different versions, they disagree a lot. But that changed. In such time, he was the child of Aphrodite, and her affair with Ares. He had several siblings, together known as the Erotes. He is described as a winged god, usually in his youth, but a few will show him in a more juvenile appearance. He has a bow and arrow, which has the power to instill love in people. Not just mortals, but also gods. He is mischievous, and loves to cause illicit relations between the gods, which is probably why he was placed under the guidance of his mother, Aphrodite, and I'm not sure that is a good idea. Now Eros did have a wife, Psyche, a mortal woman. She was said to be so beautiful that mortals were leaving the temples of Aphrodite to go worship her. And I have said this a few times, but the Greek gods were arrogant. I mean, some versions of the tale of Medusa say that she was transformed into a monster due to boasting about her beauty. So what do you think a vain goddess like Aphrodite did upon hearing of this girl? She sent her son to make the poor girl fall in love with the ugliest creature on the world. Now, take a guess who that was, because we never find out. Eros instead fell in love with the girl and whisked her away to his temple. But there is another version. Psyche had no suitors. None dare ask for her hand, partially due to the antics of her jealous sister. So her father went to the oracle of Delphi and said she was to be dressed in funeral clothes, taken to a tall peak, leave her, where the horrible beast feared by the gods was to take her. And she rejected it. Instead, she threw herself from the peak. But before meeting the ground again, she was rescued by Zephyrus, god of the west wind, and it is he who takes her to Eros, and they were to begin a life together. But she didn't know Eros' true identity. Her jealous sister set a seed of doubt in Psyche's mind, and she snuck up on Eros in his sleep, and the oil in her lamp fell and burned him. He fled to his mother's side. Psyche is saddened and seeks out Eros. First, the temple of Demeter and Hera, but eventually, Aphrodite approaches the mortal girl and gives her 4 tasks, or in other words, things which are impossible for a mortal. Think the tasks from Scarborough Fair. First up, count a massive number of seeds. Thankfully, some rather helpful ants came and helped her. Next, she was to collect wool from a monstrous sheep, which went about killing men. But a river god told her to collect the wool from bushes as it ran about. The last two she did at the same time. Third was to collect water from the underworld. Thankfully, Zeus's eagle did that for her, when it wasn't eating the liver of Prometheus. This was the Caucasian eagle, a child of Typhon and Echidna, brother of the Chimera and Hydra. While she was down there, she was supposed to collect beauty from Persephone. She is the wife of Hades and queen of the underworld. But the truth is, she's actually really nice, and even placed a bit of her beauty in a box for the young woman. Except that isn't all that was in it. Psyche got curious and opened the box, only to find the essence of death within, not the goddess's beauty. Remember, Persephone is the goddess of the spring, and also goddess of the underworld. So it is easy to see how death slipped into the box as well. I am not certain whether this was intentional or not, but I do need to bring a few things up. Persephone may have been as vain as the other goddesses, in asking for a portion of her beauty. How arrogant would a mortal sound? Let alone a mortal whose looks rivaled Aphrodite. Be if they went up to a goddess and asked to give up their looks. Serious! What did you expect a goddess to do? How would you even give up your beauty? I am leaning towards Persephone was working with Aphrodite. And there is a reason for this. Adonis. Ever hear that name? Well, he is a mortal lover which both Persephone and Aphrodite had. He was said to be the personification of male beauty. They split him across the year, each getting this handsome and attractive man for 6 months. Honestly, this sounds like a setup, when you add in the other tasks. Regardless, Psyche dies before Eros finds her. Zeus is moved by her actions and brings her back to life and made her immortal, one with butterfly wings. Together with Eros, they would have a daughter named Hidun. That is the largest tale involving Eros. But there is another, much shorter, but very important. A very young child Eros found a beehive and sought to steal honey from them. So the bees did exactly what they do and stung his fingers. The little god then went to his mother. She said, "If such small creatures can cause so much pain, imagine what your arrows can cause." A harsh lesson about the dangers of falling in love. Now Eros is able to influence people with more than just his arrows. In the Aeneid, his half-brother Aeneas meets Queen Dido, and while disguised as a baby, makes the queen fall in love with Aeneas. It ends tragically. So, what is up with the baby image of Cupid Eros? Well, that is meant to be a cherub, a type of angel that is associated with purity and innocence. And most sources do list them as having 4 wings, not 2. So yes, a Cupid and cherub are different things. It seems in the 1400s is when the two started becoming considered the same thing. Like I said before, Eros was often shown as a juvenile, and in the story of him with the bees, he was a child. And the two would look similar. Got to love the art of the Renaissance era. Among artwork, Eros is also known as Puto, yet another of many names he has. In time, the two have merged. So, when looking at artwork, to tell if it is meant to be Eros or a cherub, consider if they are meant to be childlike and innocent, or a romantic factor. That is a lot of material. So what is up with the two origins? I'll call them Protagonus and Cupid to divide them up. And there is a really simple solution. How many Johns do we have here? I know we have to have a couple listening. It is a common name. So, could it happen in mythology? Well, there were two Ajaxes in the Trojan War. So, it could be possible here. The first Eros was a primal god, and the second Eros is the child of Aphrodite. Yet, can we take a moment to appreciate how insanely powerful Eros really is? His arrows can influence gods. Let that sink in. He has caused countless affairs and conflicts on Olympus. The constant romantic trysts and betrayals which filled Greek mythology would make an incredible soap opera, especially with Eros and Aphrodite's actions. It was Eros which made Dionysus fall in love with a mortal. And then we got Zeus. With the Protagonus Eros being a primal god, it does show how the ancient Greeks thought about the importance of love. It is one of the driving forces of the world, landing up there with Gaia of the earth and Uranus of the sky. And they are right. Love has spurred people to do many things, act like fools, and plunge themselves into dangerous situations. People really do crazy things when they are in love. Eros was never the chief god of love, only an aid of his mother. Yeah, he is a bit of a mama's boy. Psyche injures him, and he flees. Though we can tell, Aphrodite wasn't originally intent on their marriage. Just look at the tasks she laid out for Psyche. They should be impossible, but only achieved due to divine intervention. It seems the other gods wanted Eros to marry her. Why? Was it to get him out of their ways, so he wasn't going round, getting in the way of their marriages and romances? That could be it. And this brings up his parentage. Most sources claim that it is Ares, with some disagreement, but the relationship between love and war is well known, and a constant struggle. Now, I wonder, what would you do if you had his powers? Me, I'd find one nice girl and settle down. But I could easily see someone getting malicious with them. Remember how the Trojan War started. Eros, under Aphrodite's orders, made Helen of Sparta fall in love with Paris of Troy. If his powers were given to the wrong person, it could cause damage. Think about it. Turn foes into lovers, but could also tear people apart as they betray and cheat on each other. Honestly, I think this is a terrifying power. Personally, I would say things like love potions should be illegal. These fall into full-on mind control. Adam and Clara walked along the road, unhurried, hand in hand, oblivious to everything around them, except each other. They gazed into each other's eyes longingly. Above them, Eros watched and admired his work. He took off through the air, on his way to his next matchmaking. Always work to do. Such was the plight of a god. Eros is a troublemaker, to be sure. But what will the world be like without a god which binds the hearts of two together in love? Thank you for watching, adventurers. Please return next time. For which species would be most likely to become sentient? Until then, I'll see you on the roads.